So, Ethan, you're going to be heading off to a very prestigious college out on the East Coast. You have an interest in economics. Maybe fill in the blanks a little bit. Tell us about this career or this path that you're thinking about pursuing at this point.
I have some interest in economics, but other fields as well, like in finance or business. So in college, I plan on exploring my options a bit there. Financial advising is definitely an interest to me, as well as other career opportunities too. So this has been definitely a valuable experience for the future.
Well, it's been, like I say, it's really been great having you here. The world's going to be a better place, Ethan, because of your contribution, and I'm just so excited to see what you do, and I hope you'll come back and visit us at the office when you come home for summer vacation. But today, what I wanted to do while you were here, we've had you working on projects for us, and then but at the same time, I've asked you to read and watch a couple of videos and then write your thoughts and then share your thoughts with our team. And some of these things have been so encouraging to me that I thought it'd be great for our listeners to also hear some of these takeaways, some of these things. So the first one was I had you watch a video from Jim Rohn. It was all about attitude. And so would you take a minute and just tell us what your takeaways were from watching that video and that teaching?
Jim talks about a pandemic, only it's the diseases of the attitude. They prevent us from succeeding in life and turn us into deadbeat humans. Now, they use the mind as a host and stay as long as people let them. For example, being indifferent, being indecisive gets you nowhere. Self-doubt is a plague, while worry drops you to your knees. Being overcautious creates fear, and then that turns into pessimism, which is deadly. Now, Jim also talks about a cure so simple, yet hard to follow. It involves time, effort, and wisdom. Negativity is always going to exist. However, it can be the best positivity. It can inspire and produce ambition. Now, an important thing to note is that learning to put everything you got into everything you do destroys the diseases of the attitude. Success or failure may follow, but either way, the way you look at things affects the way you live. Failing is just finding another way that doesn't work. At the same time, though, Jim talks about how important it is to be careful and think about what we put into our own minds. Having poor thinking habits keeps most people poor, not poor working habits. Many can work hard, but not think hard. The mind should be guarded because we live with the results. It makes thousands of decisions daily. And the reality is that life is an adventure, and that avoiding risk is simply not an option, because no one gets out alive anyway. And it's important then, not just how long you live, but how.
Awesome. Yeah, Jim Rohn, he's one of my favorites. He was somebody I consider a mentor, and it's important for me personally to go back and, in fact, every year there's that particular video that I had you watch. I watch it with about 10 other guys, and it's just we need to reset our thinking and remember how important our attitude is. So I'm glad you had a chance to read that. The next one that I had you read also has to do with our thinking. This was a book that was written by James Allen back in the early 1900s, and it's called As a Man Thinketh. What did you learn by reading that booklet?
Well, Jason, James Allen talks about how man is a master of his mind, and that thoughts dictate the direction of his life. Nothing happens for no reason, and thoughts dictate actions, which have consequences. Now, an analogy is that the mind is like a garden, and whatever is planted always yields. Good and bad thoughts are like fruit and weeds, and the products of one's thoughts. You might as well say that you reap what you sow. Now, James Allen says that we often blame our circumstances for our own reality, having self-pity. However, it is the opposite. What one makes of the circumstances of the present determines the future reality. Now, to be successful, you have to go through good times and bad times, Allen says. If you see the journey and not just the destination, then you can develop resilience and an attitude that will carry you far, even through rough times. However, success isn't just a product of right thinking, but purpose and effort. If one doesn't find a purpose, then action is useless. But if one doesn't have action, then success is just part of a dream. Many want change, but are unwilling to change themselves.
Yeah, this idea, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, is so important. And I like what you said there about purpose and action. I think of the Bible verse that talks about faith without action is dead. Faith without works is dead. And there is two parts to the equation. It's one thing to believe. It's another thing to live in a way that shows that you do. So I like that takeaway there from James Allen's book. The last book that I had you read, well, actually there's a couple other ones, but the last one we're going to cover this morning is a book by George Clason. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. So what were some of your takeaways from that book?
Well, Jason, more important than wealth is the knowledge gained from it. Arcad, the richest man in Babylon, gives insights about his simple but sage advice to those with lean purses. Now, the first advice is that a part of all you earn is yours to keep. The second is to control spending. Warren Buffett once said that you shouldn't save what is left after spending, but you should spend what is left after saving. The third is to make your money work for you by investing, using the money saved. But you want to be careful about what you invest in, and don't take foolish advice from someone who doesn't understand how to grow money. The fourth is to ensure future income without work, in the case of retirement, or in the case of an emergency. The last but critical is to increase one's earning potential. Everyone that has a skill or occupation should try to excel at that, and be the best they can be. Now, Babylon proves the worth of these lessons in gold by all the wealth and splendor from it. The laws of attraction for wealth are simple, but only as far as one is disciplined. Luck may be a factor, but you have to be ready for any opportunity at all, or you're left in the dust. It takes a combination of wisdom, hard work, and discipline to acquire wealth, which all make up the richest minds in Babylon.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good, Ethan. Boy, isn't that something? So the first one was all about attitude. You got to have the right attitude. A friend of mine calls it stinking thinking. If you're thinking the wrong thoughts, you're going to have a hard time moving forward. So having the right attitude is so important. The second one was that our mind will cultivate and grow whatever we plant in it. So we got to be careful and mindful what we grow. We want to plant the right types of seeds. If we plant a bunch of weeds, we're going to grow weeds. If we plant good stuff, we're going to grow good stuff. And so it seems like such a simple concept. And then the last one were these timeless ideas, these principles about wealth. Spend less than you earn, save first, stay away from debt, take advice from people that know what they're talking about in whatever field it is you need advice in. I mean, some of these things are just so simple, but so true, and they've lived for a long time. And it was really just been great to get to see you digest this information and then share it back with our team. And I'm excited. Like I say, you're really going to make an awesome contribution, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Thanks for being here today, Ethan. Anything else you'd like to say before we finish up?
Well, Jason, thank you again for giving me the opportunity to work here, and it's been a great time and a pretty valuable experience here. And thank you so much for impacting me and not only teaching me the business side of things, but also about just communicating with people and learning to cooperate with others and things like that. So thank you again.
Thanks so much, Ethan.
Information and opinions expressed here are believed to be accurate and complete, for general information only, and should not be construed as specific tax, legal, or financial advice for any individual, and does not constitute a solicitation for any securities or insurance products. Please consult with your financial professional before taking action on anything discussed in this program. Parker Financial, its representatives, or its affiliates have no liability for investment decisions or other actions taken or made by you based on the information provided in this program. All insurance-related discussions are subject to the claims-paying ability of the company. Investing involves risk. Jason Parker is the president of Parker Financial, an independent, fee-based wealth management firm located at 9057 Washington Avenue Northwest, Silverdale, Washington. For additional information, call 1-800-514-5046 or visit us online at soundretirementplanning.com.